Sally Field's journey to Hollywood fame was not marked by the typical glamour of fame, but by a deep emotional struggle that began in her childhood. Born on November 6, 1946, in Pasadena, California, Sally entered the world at a time when her parents' marriage was already beginning to unravel. By the age of 4, her parents divorced, leaving a young Sally with a sense of instability. Divorce in the 1950s was a heavy stigma, especially for a child. It didn't just mean a separation of two people, but a breakdown of security and love. Sally grew up between two worlds, one that was glamorous, marked by her mother's career in acting, and another that was emotionally distant, defined by her father's absence. The fractures in her childhood would go on to shape her entire life. The silent pain of abuse. While Sally's early childhood was already filled with uncertainty, the real heartbreak came with her mother's second marriage to Jock Mahoney, a stuntman and actor. On the outside, Mahoney was charming and charismatic, but behind closed doors, he became someone entirely different. In her memoir, In Pieces, Sally revealed the devastating truth that Mahoney had sexually abused her throughout her childhood. His behavior was manipulative and cruel, blurring the lines between what was appropriate and what was exploitative. The abuse wasn't just physical, but psychological. What made it worse was the silence from her mother. Margaret Field, despite her own acting career, turned a blind eye to what was happening under her roof. This betrayal by both her stepfather and her mother left Sally feeling isolated and invisible. Acting, a means of survival. Growing up in an environment where love was conditional and safety fleeting, Sally found a rare sense of solace in acting. It wasn't about the fame or the accolades. It was a form of survival. Acting provided her with an escape, a way to forget her own pain and momentarily inhabit a different persona. On film sets, Sally saw actors express emotions she wasn't able to vocalize herself. Drama classes became her refuge, and her early roles weren't just career stepping stones but a means of breathing. By stepping into different characters, she could momentarily forget the wounds she carried from her childhood. What started as an escape soon grew into a path toward her own resilience and strength, though she would pay a heavy price for it later. Hollywood's sweetheart, secretly breaking. Sally's Hollywood breakthrough came at a young age, but it came with its own set of complications. In 1965, at just 18 years old, Sally Field landed her first significant role in Gidget, a lighthearted sitcom about a carefree surfer girl. This role made her a household name, and millions of viewers saw her as the girl next door, charming and endlessly cheerful. But behind the scenes, Sally was struggling. She was masking the emotional scars of her past while trying to uphold an image that didn't reflect who she truly was. The fame she achieved came at a cost. She became a public figure whose identity was defined by a character that had little in common with the person she was. Her public image of bubbly innocence contrasted sharply with her private pain, and acting, which had once been her escape, began to feel like a prison. The Flying Nun, a role that hurt. Sally Field's next major role, The Flying Nun, in 1967, pushed her into even greater visibility, but also deepened her emotional turmoil. She played Sister Bertrell, a quirky novice whose habit allowed her to float in the air. The show became a hit, but for Sally, it was a humiliation. She felt trapped in a role that didn't reflect her true abilities, a character that reinforced the very stereotypes she longed to escape. The sitcom made her a star, but it didn't allow her to express the depth of her talent. She felt like her career was being defined by a character that was far removed from her true self.